in today's day and age, the value of brokers is being questioned, right? What value do they add, right? Do they are they actually even necessary, etc. And I do think that the answer is yes. Okay, but the answer is really in that kind of consulted. They need to kind of act as consultants, right? They need to give the right advice. Have that element, right? And if they spend a lot of their time doing manual data entries and just kind of doing these sort of quite tiresome and quite burdening tasks, then the process is taking away from the consulting qualities, if you will.
And is in terms of the functionality of the product or the products, and in terms of how customers buy and kind of what go-to-market strategies are. I mean, I find it interesting that you're in such a variety of markets, and I'm just curious about what it's like to try to manage that. At the end of the day, is it kind of a broker is a broker is a broker regardless of market, or are there nuances you have to account for?
Yeah, look, it is a great question, right? Look, I think there are certainly challenges with being in so many different markets and jurisdictions. I mean, from just simple kind of doing the business with certain countries, right? For example, China, right? Getting paid from China in terms of just kind of the process is quite, is sometimes quite. It's complex, right? It's not impossible, but it's complex, right? Then you obviously running platforms in the insurance industry, right, which is heavily regulated. You have a lot of local regulators that sometimes dictate what information you need to do. Obviously, that we have the data sovereignty laws. So obviously we need to worry about where the data is getting hosted, etc. And then you have the certain just sort of regional requirements, right? Or country-specific requirements, right? Who knew that in places like China or Indonesia, the last name is actually not mandatory, for a person, because you have a lot of individuals that have got just one single name, right?